So we thought that it's a good idea, with all the disruptions that there's been and so forth, to just talk about where the Lions squad are currently, and where the Springboks are currently. So we're going to start with the front row. So I've done a bit of homework, and it seems like Marco Vunipola is sort of out of the mix.
Yeah.
And they complain about his scrummaging. He's a very good ball carrier. But what are your thoughts about the scrum against the Sharks and against the Sigma Lions, where Marco Vunipola was involved in both of those games?
I actually thought the Sharks and the Lions held the scrum. They didn't dominate, but the scrum was held quite well. It looked like in the Sharks game that the Lions collapsed on purpose a couple of times, but I don't think that they haven't been dominating the scrums so far, but maybe they hiding it away, I don't know.
Yeah, Taj Furlong hasn't had a go yet, and he's probably the one guy that is penned in as a starter.
He's the guy.
Yes, he's the guy that everyone talks about.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to actually see today. We're going to see what the status of their scrum actually is. I think.
Yes.
I think against the Lions, they struggled a bit more than last week. I don't know what you guys think against the Sharks.
Yeah, the Sharks won a few scrum penalties.
They actually won a few scrum penalties.
Yes, and it looked like the Lions ended up on their bellies a lot. I actually thought the Sharks had to get a few more penalties than they did. So what I've read is that the British fans are not happy with Vunipola as far as scrummaging is. Yes. So it's probably going to be Rory Sutherland, who's a Scotsman, and then Ken Owens and Taj Furlong, possibly Jamie George in the hooker instead of Ken Owens.
Yeah.
And then in the locks, it's Itoje is definitely a starter.
He's a definite starter. And we went and looked at some of his highlights.
Yeah.
And if you look at those highlights, it's a little bit different to the highlights that we're used to with, like Bakkies Botha and Eben Etzebeth, Retallick.
Yeah.
It's more he's just doing his job.
Yes.
But we'll see now. I mean,
he does the basics brilliantly.
Yeah.
But there's not one thing that you can isolate that he's really good at. He can do everything. He steals balls, he rips balls, he breaks the line a few times, but occasionally.
Maybe that's the point, though.
Yes, that he's actually good at everything.
And that he's good at everything.
Yeah. Good in the lineup.
Versatile.
Yes.
Very versatile.
I mean,
player.
if you do everything perfectly, then
then you don't need to be flash at anything specifically.
Does it really matter if you break the line often, etc.?
No, not really. No.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they need to find a partner for him, and as far as I could see, Johnny Hill is the most likely one, possibly Ian Henderson. But Courtney Laws maybe. But I think that's the position that's open at the moment, and all the locks that are remaining are playing for Alan Wynne-Jones's position. And the Lucies, which is the next point, which is probably a big headache for them, because they've got Hamish Watson and Tom Curry competing for the same position.
And they are both playing very good rugby at the moment.
See, we know Curry because we looked at him before the Rugby World Cup final, etc. We don't. This Watson is a bit of an unknown factor, and what I've seen in the highlights reels and that, he looks like the shizners.
And he was European Rugby Player of the Year.
So if you were to, like, referring to what we said just now about Itoje, when you look at Watson's highlights reel, he's a line breaker.
Yes.
He's in over the ball.
He does everything.
Strong runner.
You see him because of his huge mullet.
Yes. It's magnificent.
And then Tom Curry is a superstar of English rugby. I think he's probably, together with Owen Farrell, the best English players in the team.
He's just very young.
So they've got to find a way. Maybe Watson at 6 and Curry at 7, and then you're leaving Taj Burney out, who's also very impressive.
We will see today against the Sharks.
We'll see again. And then at 8, Faletau's always been Gatlin's favourite.
And he's mobile.
Yes, he does everything. And you've got a guy like Simmons who came in, who's very inexperienced at test level. So I think Faletau will get that. And we know him well, and we know what he can do.
And I have to say that Gatland has really prepared, he's chosen well on that back three. And that's where we, I think, lack a little bit. We can talk about it.
Well, what I want to say about Faletau is I'll never forget that. I mean, that try that he scored against the All Blacks in the second test.
Yes.
For the Lions.
Yes.
That was an amazing try.
I
mean,
so
great finished.
Yeah, so he's really a guy that Gatland always depends on. But Taj Burney also looked very good in the first game against the Sigma Lions. Broke the line, did some amazing stuff. So it's going to be difficult to find a place for those three. But then very strong players are going to come off the bench as well.
Yeah, what a nice headache for them.
Yeah, what a nice headache to have. Yes. Like, okay, and then obviously number 9 is an easy pick because it's the captain.
Yes.
So that's Conor Murray. And then with a backup will be Davies from Wales.
Bit of a surprise to have a backliner as a captain for the first time, but he's a. You need that key position for a captain to make the decision. So I think Conor Murray has got the experience. He's an excellent player.
Yes,
so.
Best box kicker in world rugby.
Yeah.
He kicks it out on the halfway line from his own goal line.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sickening for every team.
Extremely annoying.
Yeah.
No, he's probably the right choice.
Yeah, you think you have them under pressure, and then you've got a line out on the 50-meter line. It's crazy. And then another bit of a headache is it sounds like Biggar, surprising to us, because Owen Farrell is also billed as a superstar of English rugby. It sounds like Biggar is going to be at fly half.
Yeah.
And then Owen Farrell possibly at 12. I don't think he can just leave Farrell out of the team.
Yeah, because of his experience. I mean, we've been playing against Farrell since 2012, I think.
Yeah.
That's as far back as I can remember us playing against him.
Yeah.
I like Biggar because he's bigger. And I like his attitude.
Yes.
When we play against him, I don't like his attitude. I wish our flank would tackle him in the face, but he's got a winning attitude.
Yeah, he's an underrated player. He's better than
no, he's a good player. I like him as well. But I think they will field both those players.
Yes.
In the test matches simultaneously.
Yeah. How do they decide who's the goal kicker from those two? Biggar or Farrell?
It's also,
I think Farrell.
Yeah, probably Farrell, but it's also a nice problem to have.
Yes, another nice problem to have.
Because there's no halfpenny at the fullback.
No.
So I would say Farrell.
Yeah.
Then at outside centre, another nice headache because Elliot Daly played at outside centre against the Sharks.
It's weird.
Looked super impressive.
Yes,
he looked good, but it's weird seeing him.
Yes, and Robbie Henshaw is the other option. But I think it's also a case of you want Daly in the team somewhere.
Yeah.
And if once we get to the outside backs, you'll see that maybe it's a good option to have him at outside centre then.
Also a brilliant player.
Yes,
sure.
And gives you another option at goal kicking with the long distance kicks. Yeah.
It seems like they reckon Henshaw.
Yes.
That's how they seem to be punting Henshaw.
Yeah, I think Henshaw is the favourite.
Yeah, I think he is
He's
as well.
A beast. He's
I
huge.
think Elliot Daly's making it difficult for him. And then the back three, you can't leave Josh Adams out of the team.
No,
no, that's for sure.
He's going to break some sort of record for the number of tries. I don't know.
Yeah, Stuart Hogg is vice captain. So
I like him. He's a clever player.
Yes.
He can make it. He can shift a game from a losing start to a winning end.
Yes. Score out of nothing.
Yeah, he's a guy that can change the intensity of a game.
Yeah.
He brings a bit of energy and clever decisions.
One feels sorry though for Liam Williams.
Yes,
because Rees-Zammit might be he's the new wonder boy of Welsh rugby. And but I also read that they think he looks great on the attack, but he's lacking a bit under the high ball and a few other things. So you've got guys like Liam Williams, Duan van der Merwe, Anthony Watson, who is then not considered.
So
if that's your back three, so you've got those three backups who are not in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
You could easily replace Hogg with Liam Williams, and it will be just as good an attacking option.
Yeah, it's also a nice problem to have, but it looks also like they want to use Duan van der Merwe. There's a spot for him there. We don't know.
Maybe on the other wing instead of Rees-Zammit.
Yeah.
And there's no crowd, there's no Clyde Rathbone situation where the crowd can boo Duan van der Merwe and that sort of thing. So this is it's actually a nice neutral situation for them.
Happy with the Lions?
Yeah, I think they're a bit spoiled in selection. All their players are fit and ready to go.
Yes.
Which is, I think, surely the next point is that what's our standpoint?
So for the Springboks, we've got the Springbok team that played in the final, and then we need to replace a few players, and obviously we think that Kitshoff is coming in for the Beast.
Yes.
So we think that our front row is going to be the same with Malherbe, Bongi, Bunambi, and Kitshoff. But I sort of lean, and you guys must tell me what you think, towards if Marx can sort out the set piece, I still sort of lean towards Marx.
But he's a nice impact player.
Yes, but those two are both so good.
Yeah.
And rugby, the basics is the most important thing, is your scrum and your lineouts.
Yeah.
And if Marx misses 3 balls again in the lineouts, then I'm gonna completely lose it.
It seems like he tightened that up.
Yeah.
Like a few years ago, like 2018, he was really.
He was struggling, but I think he's probably put a lot of work into getting that right.
And then the biggest talking point is obviously the locks.
Sure.
Yeah. We went from having like 4 world-class locks to wondering whether we have
enough.
Yeah.
So it's actually an easy selection, because the only 2 really fit ones is Mostert and Etzebeth.
Yeah.
Etzebeth had a shot on the ribs, but we've had nothing in the press that he's out.
So it's probably okay. It's maybe
it's
just a
probably
bruise.
Yeah.
We hope so. I mean, Luet is he tested positive?
Luet is the one who tested positive, so if he has symptoms, then how quickly can he get back into training?
Who else do we have?
Well, Archie is now...
He's got a skin graft.
Yeah, he's got a skin graft.
Yes, it's devastating. It's devastating that he's not going to play.
And then Nico Jansen van Rensburg, you can tell me anything about him. I've literally seen like 5 minutes of footage on YouTube of him.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
Plays for Montpellier.
Yeah. You've got Reinhard Elstad, who can double up at lock, and Jean-Luc Depree, who can also play lock.
Yeah. And Pieter-Steph.
Pieter-Steph is not an option for me.
Yeah, he's become
as a flank.
As a flank. They moved him to flank, and then he became the best flank in the world. I mean, but it is technically an option. I think. That's a weakness for us at the moment, or a problem just in terms of depth.
Yes,
I mean, I think the starting 2 we have is perfect, but who else?
Who else do we get in there?
Add in there? And
with the Lucy's, obviously Sia's position is cemented, and then Pieter-Steph, and then 8th man. We spoke about it on WhatsApp this morning, and we couldn't reach a conclusion between us and Jono, the other pundit, about who they should pick.
Dwayne was so good at changing games in his decision making. So if you're struggling in the beginning, he can, with his decision making, he can end up making the guys win the game, like we saw in the first English test with Rassi in charge. He's a leader, like you say. He calls the defence. He's like a general. So who do you replace him with?
How do you replace a guy who calls the defence? He's a line-out option. He's a brilliant ball carrier.
He doesn't miss a tackle.
He steals balls in the rucks. A great tackler. I mean, you've got players who can do 1 or 2 of those things. You can get Kwagga, who can fetch, and it's maybe a line-out option because he's not too heavy, but he's not the ball carrier that Dwayne is. I don't know if he can marshal the defence like Dwayne can. You've got Wiese, who always gets over the gain line, but he's a shortish guy. I don't know if they can lift him. I don't know if he can fetch, because I haven't seen enough of him. He's inexperienced. You've got Dan de Pree, Jean-Luc possibly.
But none of them, they're all great players. Yeah. But you've got all that combination in Dwayne, so I think that is
get him fit.
Yeah, get him
Put
fit.
Him in that oxygen tank.
Just leave him there.
Stay there permanently.
Put some water and
I think that's like an open spot for her. That's something Gatlin.
Marco van Staden.
Target.
Also too inexperienced. He's a great player.
Yes.
Like when you watch him live,
Yeah, maybe a Marco.
So we're not 100% sure.
But that's a big question mark.
Okay, and then moving to the backline is also going to be the World Cup backline pretty much. I've just read interesting things about the backup. People aren't too crazy about Jesse Creel. They think he's one-dimensional. Lucanio gives you another fetching option, because that is also one of our strong points, is that we have 4 or 5 fetches across the field. So if you take Dwayne out, you lose one of those options. And the Springboks are known for stealing the opponent's ball all over the field. But Pollard's in there, Faf is in. Damien looks like Darlenda should be fine, and then your wings and your fullbacks.
He sat a bit further from the fire.
Yes, he stood a bit further from the fire.
And then it's Mapimpi and Colby and
Colby.
Fassi as a backup. And then what's your opinion about Frans Steyn? The press says that that was his worst test in recent times for the Springboks.
I thought he was very poor, and I thought Willemse.
Yes,
Looked
an
decent.
option at 12.
He suddenly looks like he's beefed up.
Yeah.
He looks fast. He looks hungry.
Yeah,
He had a much better game than the rest of his season.
I mean, on
Yes.
the bombs in the bomb squad though. I'm saying as
Yeah.
opposed to France.
So maybe he just hasn't been allowed to play the kind of rugby
Yeah.
he wants to play, because I also think that in the test he looked good.
yeah.
Yeah.
It will give him confidence if Rassie tells him that you are our backup
Yeah.
as a utility back, and
Yeah.
you can play 12 as well, and it gives you an own Farrell type of option because he's a complete ball player.
Yeah.
He can kick for goal. He's a number 10.
Yeah.
And then Fussy gives a good option for the entire
he's-
back three as well.
He's also had a great game.
Yeah.
So I was worried about Fussy's defensive play, but he didn't miss a tackle. So
No.
I think that's good.
Hopefully, it means that there is a chance that Dwayne will be ready.
Yeah.
I think there's an outside chance still
Yes.
that they
Yeah.
probably prep him in.
Yes, and
for-
just strap that skin graft of Erge.
Yeah.
Just strap it tight.
Yeah.
I mean,
rip it off and plaster it.
Yeah.
Put a plaster
just
on.
put
and-
like strapping that thick on his leg. He'll be fine.
I
He'll
mean,
be fine.
it'll be more scary if you've got someone like Harvey Dent playing against you. Right.
Yeah, well, COVID has had a huge impact, and it's already difficult to play these Alliance Tour, and now on top of that, the Springboks and the Lions, because they've had to replace guys at last minute. They've
Yeah.
got guys who Liam Williams and those oaks haven't had any game time.
Yeah.
Now, what would the score have been on Wednesday?
Yes,
Yeah.
if all those guys
All
were
those
playing.
guys were- yeah.
Yeah.
I think the COVID thing can have a slight advantage in our favour, is that we don't have to show anything
Yes.
on field.
Yeah.
We can't give anything away at this stage, which I think is a problem for Gatland.
Yeah.
But okay, we do need the guys to be match fit,
Yes.
and you can't really use the first
Yeah.
test to do that.
There was-
But maybe we can use it in our
Yeah.
advantage.
The speculation in the press that they will work in some sort of match, either against a provincial team, for the Springboks now I mean,
That'd be nice.
or that something will happen behind closed doors that we don't know about. Get a ref in, get your third string players together, and guys who won't be involved in the test, and play a proper match.
Yes.
Call Werner Kok in.
Yeah,
as the
call
wing
a
for
few
that- for that
guys in.
game.
Yeah, call a few provincial guys in and say,
Yeah,
"Come
like
help
a-
us out."
Yes.
And you go to the B field here at Loftus and you play a proper match.
Yeah.
If one or two oaks get injured, so be it. But they need real game
Need
time.
some, as long as the guys that are fit and
Yeah.
not COVID or whatever, that they do their training, they practice, they go ahead, because this is not going to be.
No,
This is
it's
going
not
to
going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy. The Lions look
Yeah.
extremely well polished.
Normally, the worry is where the players from 3-4 different teams can gel together for the Lions, and they are actually going to have a better unity and more cohesion, and play better together than the Springboks, because they've spent more time together than the Springboks.
Yeah, all
I
right.
think we can say cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
We don't have beers.
Looking
We don't
no,
have
we
beer.
don't have beers.
It's locked down.
Looking forward to a great game at Loftus.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that later. That's not why we're here.
Go Sharks. Not that I would ever say that
Yeah,
again.
go
but
Sharks.